Hello and welcome back to English Podcast Live. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Super excited for today's topic because honestly, this is something I experienced myself when I was learning English.
Same here, and before we get into it, let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a situation where you completely understood what someone said in English? You knew exactly what you wanted to say back, but nothing came out?
Oh my goodness. Yes. I call it the English blackout.
Haha, the English blackout. That is a perfect name for it. Your brain just goes blank.
Like someone turned off the lights, and meanwhile, the other person is just standing there waiting.
And then you get even more nervous because they're waiting.
Exactly. It becomes this terrible cycle. And today, we are going to break that cycle.
Today, we're talking about how to sound confident in English even when you're nervous. And I want to be clear from the start, this is not about grammar. Your grammar is probably fine.
This is about your mindset, your habits, and some very specific techniques that actually work.
Let's go.
So, Alex, let's start with the why. Why do people freeze up when speaking English, even if they understand it really well?
Great starting point. So there's actually a psychological term for this. It's called language anxiety. And research shows it's incredibly common, especially among adult language learners.
What's happening in the brain?
So basically, your brain is doing too many things at once. You're listening, you're translating, you're thinking of a response, you're judging your own pronunciation, you're worrying about making mistakes, and all of this is happening in a split second.
That's exhausting just thinking about it.
It is, and the problem is that cognitive overload triggers a stress response. Your body thinks you're in danger, your heart rate goes up, your mind goes blank.
The classic fight or flight response, but instead of running from a tiger, you're running from a job interview.
Exactly, a very well-dressed English-speaking tiger.
Okay, so what makes some people better at managing this than others? Because some people seem so effortless.
Great question, and this is something that trips people up. When you see someone speaking English confidently, you might think, oh, they're just naturally confident, but that's usually not the case.
They've just practiced enough that the cognitive load went down.
Exactly. The goal isn't to eliminate nervousness, it's to reduce the mental load so your brain has space to actually speak.
So it's a skill, not a personality trait.
100%. And that means it's trainable. Now let's talk about the mistakes that are keeping people stuck. Mistake number 1, and this is the big one, translating in your head before you speak.
Oh, this is so relatable. You're thinking in your native language and then trying to convert it into English in real time.
And it almost never works well, right? Because languages don't map perfectly onto each other. The sentence structure might be completely different.
And by the time you've translated it, the moment has passed. The conversation has moved on.
So the fix for this is to start thinking in English, even in small ways. When you're at home, narrate what you're doing. You're making coffee, say to yourself, I'm grinding the beans, now I'm adding water, in English.
That sounds a little bit like talking to yourself.
It is. Totally do it. Your brain starts building English as a primary channel, not just a translation layer on top of your native language.
What's mistake number 2?
Mistake number 2, and this is more subtle, is trying to sound like a native speaker immediately.
Meaning you're mimicking someone else's voice or style?
Right, you're trying to sound like a character from a TV show or someone you admire, and it feels forced, so you hesitate.
Because it doesn't feel like you.
Bingo. The goal should be to sound like you in English, your personality, your humor, your way of expressing things, just in a different language.
That's actually a really freeing way to think about it. Okay, so now the good stuff. 5 strategies to build actual, real speaking confidence. Strategy 1?
Strategy 1. Use thinking phrases. These are short phrases you can say while you're buying yourself time to think. They sound natural, they don't make you look uncertain, they actually make you sound thoughtful.
Give us some examples.
Sure, that's a great question. Let me think about that for a second. Or, how do I put this? Or what I'm trying to say is, or even just a simple, right, so...
And native speakers use these all the time.
All the time. In meetings, in presentations, in casual conversations. Using thinking phrases is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you're taking the conversation seriously.
Love that. Strategy 2?
Strategy 2. Prepare your go-to sentences for common situations. Think about the English conversations you have most often: meeting someone new, ordering food, answering "how are you," talking about your job.
And preload those phrases.
Preload them until they're automatic, so when the situation comes, you don't need to think. The sentence just comes out.
Like muscle memory.
Exactly like muscle memory. You're not thinking about how to shoot a basketball, you've practiced it enough that your body just does it.
Strategy 3.
Strategy 3. Stop monitoring yourself while speaking. This is a hard one. When we're nervous, we simultaneously try to speak and evaluate what we're saying. That split attention is what causes us to freeze.
So just turn off the internal critic.
Try to. Give yourself permission to be imperfect in the moment. The review can come later.
Like athletes who say you have to trust your training and not think during the game.
Perfect analogy. Trust your English. Strategy 4.
What is it?
Strategy 4. Recover gracefully when something goes wrong, because it will go wrong. You'll mispronounce something, you'll blank on a word, you'll say the wrong thing. The key is how you recover.
What does graceful recovery look like?
Say, "Sorry, let me rephrase that," or "I don't think I said that right. What I mean is," or just laugh a little. "Okay, that came out completely wrong."
Humor helps so much.
It does. It immediately breaks the tension and actually makes you more likable. People connect with someone who can laugh at themselves.
And strategy 5?
Strategy 5. Build what I call your English comfort zone, and then slowly expand it. Start with the situations where you feel least anxious. Maybe that's texting in English, then phone calls, then in-person conversations, then presentations.
Gradual exposure.
Exactly. You don't jump into the deep end on day one. You build up slowly, and each success makes the next challenge feel smaller.
Okay, I love this. Let's do some practice scenarios. I'll describe a situation and you respond with how a confident English speaker would handle it.
Let's go.
You're in a meeting and someone asks you a technical question you weren't prepared for.
I'd say, "That's a really important question. Let me make sure I give you an accurate answer. Can I follow up with you on that by end of day?" It's honest, it's professional, and it shows you take accuracy seriously.
Much better than just panicking and saying something wrong.
Way better.
Scenario 2. You're chatting with a native speaker and they use a phrase you don't understand.
I'd say, "Sorry, I want to make sure I understand. When you say phrase, do you mean," or even simpler, "Could you say that another way? I want to make sure I'm following." Most people are genuinely happy to clarify.
Right. It's not embarrassing to ask, it's considerate.
It shows you're paying attention and you care about the conversation.
Scenario 3. You're giving a presentation and you lose your place completely.
Take a breath, pause, look down at your notes if you have them, then say, "Let me just make sure I cover this point properly." Then continue. A deliberate pause reads as thoughtful, not panicked.
The pause is actually powerful.
Very powerful. Silence makes people pay attention.
Scenario 4. You accidentally say something rude or culturally inappropriate without realizing it.
When you realize, "Oh, I hope that didn't come across the wrong way. What I meant was," and if someone tells you, "Thank you for telling me, I'll keep that in mind." No need for excessive apology. Acknowledge and move on.
Clean and respectful.
Exactly.
All right, let's wrap up with our key takeaways.
Number 1, confidence isn't about grammar. It's about reducing mental load and trusting your English.
Number 2, the freezing up feeling is normal. It's language anxiety, and it's trainable.
Number 3, stop translating in your head. Start thinking in English, even at home, even with tiny things.
Number 4, use thinking phrases to buy yourself time gracefully. They make you sound more thoughtful, not less confident.
Number 5, prepare your go-to sentences for the situations you encounter most often.
Number 6, turn off the internal critic while you're speaking. Review later. Speak now.
Number 7, recover gracefully when things go wrong. A simple rephrase or a bit of humor goes a long way.
Number 8, build your English comfort zone gradually. Don't jump into the deep end before you're ready.
And our listener challenge this week, find one low-stakes situation to speak English in that you normally avoid, even if it's just ordering coffee in English or starting a voice note to a friend in English.
Something small, something manageable, and then notice it probably wasn't as scary as you thought.
Exactly. The first step is always the hardest.
That's it for this episode of English Podcast Live. Thank you so much for listening.
If this episode helped you, please hit the subscribe button so you never miss a new episode. We're here every week with real English for real life.
And drop a comment below. Tell us, what's your biggest challenge when speaking English? We read every comment.
See you next week.
Take care, everyone. Bye.